In today's video, we're going to be brewing Space Hopper. If you don't know, Space Hopper is one of the P1 original brews, and from all the reading I've done, it definitely was one of the most popular ones, so I'm looking forward to seeing the results. It's a double hopped IPA with citrus and hoppy aromas, and it says that it's approximately 7%, so it should be quite pokey. I'm looking forward to that. The standard times on here say 5 days brewing, 3 days conditioning. I wouldn't recommend using the standard times for any of the brews you do. Go for the developed times. What I'm going to do with this one is use my 3-week cycle. So it's going to be 11 days brewing, 3 days cold crash, and then 7 days conditioning. So what we'll do when we jump over into the kitchen, first of all we'll sanitize the mixing bottle, then the pinter and the docking station. Then we'll mix the fresh press in my mixing bottle, transfer it to the pinter, fill it up to the said amount, then add the yeast, give it a good shake, and then put it on the brewing dock so it's ready for brewing, and that should be ready in 11 days, as I say. Now, before we crack on, if you like the content, then please do hit the like button. It means a lot. And if you're wondering what I'm drinking Winter Sun. This is my first brew. And it's nice, quite sweet, but also quite bitter. I'll put the playlist up there if you want to see the full playlist. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Did I say like? I said like, right? Here we are at the brewing station, and I'm going to start off by adding in my pint of purifier, which I'm going to use to purify my mixing jug. And then I'm going to add about a few litres of hot water and then give it a good mix. Okay, so I've shook this for a few minutes, and it's really important that when you're mixing the sanitizing solution, just to look at the bottom and make sure that you don't have any white crystals floating at the bottom. You want to make sure it's completely mixed through. Got my pinter here. I've taken off the handle, made sure that this is securely on, taken off the front plate, and then unscrewed the top. So I'm going to pour in the sanitized solution into the pinter. Make sure the carb setting is set to 5, because if it's set to 0 or anything below 1, then you'll find that the solution will actually just start coming out of the bottom of the pinter. So that looks good to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill her up to the fill line with hot water, and then again put the cap on and give her a good shake. Now that she's had a good shake, we're going to clear the lines, which is basically where the beer is going to be coming out. There's 2 lines. There's a plastic pipe, which is at 45 degrees, and then completely open. So to clear the lines, I'm just going to set the carb dial to 0, just to let some pressure in, and then I'm going to wiggle the handle and go to 45 degrees. It takes a while for it to come out, but eventually you can see, hopefully, that there's a nice little trickle there, so that's good. And we'll leave this for a few seconds just to make sure that plenty of the sanitized solutions are making its way through. So that is good to go. And then next I'm going to open her up fully. And again, just let that run for 5-10 seconds. Now to sanitize the bottom. So you've got the carb valve at the bottom and also the hopping valve. So I'm just going to push the hopping valve in, and then I'm just going to turn her upside down and let some of the solution run out. But just need to make sure that the valve is back up and sitting flush. So it's closed now. So the only way water can come out now is the carb valve. So again, just turn her upside down. Let some water run out. Now it's time to put on the brewing dock. So I'm going to place her on like this, then turn, and you'll feel it drop down. And you can press down. Takes a bit of effort, and then turn back. Now that's securely on. We can turn her over. And the water is now going to run down into the brewing dock and sanitize. So that's it for sanitization. We're going to leave this where it is, and we get on to mixing the brew. Onto the brew, I'm going to pour in a couple of litres of water into my mixing jar. And then I'm going to pour in my fresh press. Now, you store these in the fridge, but I took this out last night because I knew that I was doing a video today, or doing a brew, and also I've left it on the windowsill because it's a nice sunny day here, just to heat up so it's not quite as thick, and hopefully it should also help with the mixing. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the syrup has gone straight to the bottom. So we need to make sure that when we give this a shake in a minute, it all comes out, or it all mixes together. What I'm going to do, just to make sure we get everything out of the press, because you want to make sure you get all of the good stuff out, I'm just going to put in some hot water that I boiled earlier. It's not boiling now, it's just, it's just warm. And then give this a shake, and then pour that into the mixing jug. Okay, give this a good shake. Some hot water, just to get the remaining good stuff out the press. That's looking good. And it's always good at this point just to give this a bit of a smell. And they smell amazing. So, on goes the lid. I'm going to give this a good shake. You can see here you've got the press at the bottom and then the water. I'm going to shake this for a minute, then let it sit for 30 seconds, and then repeat the process a few times, maybe 3 times over. So I've shook this for a few minutes now, and that's looking good. So the next step is going to be to undock the pinter. So to do this, I turn the pinter to open it, and then pull up. Here we go. And then pour out the sanitized solution from the dock. So the dock is good to go. And then we're going to open the pinter, so take the lid off and then pour out the solution before we add in our brew. So we're ready to pour in our fresh press, which has been mixed in our mixing jug. And a way to check that it's been mixed properly is that if you just turn it upside down quickly, if you see any kind of thick syrup at the bottom, then you know it needs a bit more of a shake. But hopefully, if it's nice and clear like this, then it should have combined with the water and we're good to add her in. So let's add her in. And now I'm going to fill up to the fill line, which, if you're wondering, it should be 5.2 litres. So that's her at the fill line. And then next, what the instructions say would be to add the fresh press, but we've already added it in here. So I'm just going to fill the fresh press up to roughly where the Space Hopper solution was, and then tip it into our pinter. The last step is to add the fresh brewing yeast. In it goes. And now we can put the cap back on, and it's not going to come off until we're finished with the brew and it's ready to clean. So she screws on like that. I'm just going to give this another shake and then it'll be ready to put on the dock. So I've given her a shake, you can tell that because I'm out of breath. And now we're going to be putting on the brewing dock. So again, same as before, we're going to turn it, wait to feel where the grips align, then push down, and then turn back to its locked position. Then we're going to flip her over. And then lastly, I'm going to set the carb dial. The instructions say 2. I'm actually going to set it just above 1 and let it brew just above 1. And after about 7 days of brewing, then I'll move it back up to 2 so it can build some CO2 in there. So I think that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you've made it to the end, stay tuned for the next one because I'll be walking you through how I monitor the temperatures of my brewing cupboard, aka my airing cupboard. Cheers.